Three very good reasons to join me for this review here today. First of all, as you might have seen, we recently went for the X3 plug-in hybrid as a personal vehicle, but Leah actually wanted the GLC, but there wasn't a good offer. BMW had the better offer. Today we're driving the GLC one more time to find out, was it the right choice to go for the X3 or is the GLC maybe better? Later on we'll drive extensive German Autobahn and Leah also joins me on the passenger seat and we'll discuss what is maybe better with the GLC and what's maybe better with the X3. Very interesting. Second good reason is you wanted to see the 6-cylinder GLC. We do have the 6-cylinder here under the hood today and tell you all about the new choices and so on. And the third good reason here with the Mercedes GLC is that we're soon going to drive the all-electric one, the GLC EQ. And so I want to get a feeling how the combustion engine drives and then also compare it to the electric version. So join us now for these three good reasons with Thomas Nautical Fuel in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. GLC here in the AMG line. You have the graphic right there. Horizontal in the lower part, and you have the AMG specific graphics, and always really nice with these tiny little Mercedes stars right there. This is the optional matrix LED, the digital light. Graphite gray, this pretty popular color. It's not dark black, but comes towards black, so to speak. Length 4.72 m, 186 inches, typical for the GLC. Here with 19-inch winter tires in the aerodynamic AMG styling. But I think it's refreshing to see a car that doesn't have like the largest wheels. And interesting also in comparison to the X3, this one here has optional the air suspension and also rear axle steering. The rear wheels turn up to 4.5 degrees in the opposite direction. At least it's available on the European market. US market, you have to check the GLC 43 then, for example, or the 53, the new one, for the rear axle steering, but it's a little bit limited with the AMG models, doesn't go the full 4.5 degrees. In the rear, the modern signature here, left and right, and the new GLC generation here always has this connecting black element, which isn't that, visual with the graphite gray, but if you have a bright vehicle, this one will still be a black bar. And in the lower part, is that a job for the Autogefühl fake exhaust police? Uh-oh. Yep, I would say Autogefühl fake exhaust t-shirts for everyone, because this is a clear case for the Autogefühl fake exhaust police. It couldn't be any more clearer. What about that actually? So this will be super interesting also on the interior. Let's quickly take a look under the hood, because that's also one of the major things here for today. Little drops here on the floor, by the way. We went to the car wash for you, that the car is really shiny. Always the best then for our viewers, of course. And there we go. So for the GLC, you can see here the 6-cylinder. And in general, you have 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol and diesel and 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol and diesel. The plug-in hybrids are based on 2-liter 4-cylinders, and both for petrol and diesel. Very interesting. And now you have two 6-cylinder choices. This one is the first one, the 3-liter 6-cylinder diesel 450D. You want to see this review here on Autogefühl, so that's then your wish come true. 367 horsepower plus the ISG, that's like the integrated starter generator, so they have a mild hybrid system right here with something electric, like a small electric boost. 4.7 seconds in the acceleration figure. Is this the dream engine here on the combustion side for the GLC? We're going to find out today with the special Autobahn test. Half a second quicker would be the other 6-cylinder choice now, recently published GLC 53. This is now the 3-liter 6-cylinder petrol engine, because they listen to the customers. You might remember that the GLC 43 and the GLC 63 are both 2-liter 4-cylinders now, these AMG versions. So then they said, we want to have AMG offering on the GLC model lineup with 6-cylinder again, and now offer that once again. 4.2 seconds would be the acceleration figure then. All-wheel drive, as always. There are on certain markets some rear-wheel drive entry versions as well, but most have all-wheel drive and also with a rear-wheel bias. Now welcome here to the cockpit of the Mercedes GLC, and we're also going to compare it to our X3's choice. First of all, inside of the doors, this is very interesting. So you have the seat control in the top part, so when you close the door, and also a seat heating button separate. That's good, even if it's like capacitive button thing. The rest here inside of the doors is hard pack. It's not properly covered. Just at the bottom part you have some rubber ground at least. Then what's actually pretty cool, you can have different decal elements here, like this wood, for example, matte wood. Different ones are available. That's beautifully done. The screen is more like in this vertical shape, and you can also have different decal elements right here. I just wonder, I think this should be fitting to this, shouldn't it be? Because there's a lot going on, so it's not very calm design, but here this turbine vent design is actually quite cool, and also ambient lighting at night looks very fancy, definitely. This screen here actually, also with the climate menu and so on, is actually easy to control, because with the X3 you have to reach out very far. That's why in the iX3, the electric one, they put the screen then closer to the driver, which is I think a good thing, because here it's also easier. So let's see here, like the way from the steering wheel to the climate unit, even though it is a digital climate unit, I prefer physical, it is easy to control. And also in the new GLC EQ, they went the other way. They now put the screen far away again in this horizontal shape. So you see it's going back and forth in the automotive industry. Can't really understand that. Seat ergonomics is to me a little bit better in the X3, so I have a better seating position there. And these ones are the animal skin seats. However, for the GLC you can also get a very soft high-grade leatherette, also with seat cooling, which is also softer than the animal skin actually. Then you have here the split opening, for example, a lot of space, 2 USB-C chargers, and then this middle console can be either very clean like this or open it like here. These cup holders are adaptive, yes, but still bottles tend to fly around. I can show that to you actually. So when I have like a standard, it's a nice spacious glove box here, by the way. So here when I have this bottle, and then you see here, this doesn't hold bottles tight enough. This is more like for coffee cups. This is an issue they have addressed now in the recent Mercedes S-Class facelift. Shown that to you earlier, where they have now then this this 4-dot design, really catching also a little bit heavier bottles. That's actually quite cool. Inductive charging pad is like hidden down there. Also something they fixed in the new S-Class facelift. So yeah, this is always a pro and con. This steering wheel is the AMG-Line, 2 horizontal spokes. There's also the base steering wheel available. And also for the GLC, you can opt for an annual-free steering wheel. Now they have introduced it with the latest model year change. So that's actually also a quite good offer, and large digital instruments quite right here. But here everything from the side here, also soft touch on the top part and so on. So I'm actually very happy with the build quality. Rear seats. So what's cool that we also have a nice covering at the rear, at the inside of the door, for example, at least on the top part. And then here, as for the legroom, it does fit for 4 tall adults, I would say, when I'm driving. So yeah, that's actually quite good for the knees. And headroom with 189/602, also no problem. There is also a panoramic roof available optionally. Yeah, middle seats, really large middle tunnel, so it's not ideal to sit there as a tall adult. What's the cool function is that when I fold the seat, look here at the front seat, there we go. So that you can easily fold this one here, and this one doesn't hit the front seat. This one moves a little bit forward electrically. That's actually a very clever integration. Oh, and you can also put the seats here. When you come around here, you can use this cargo position here like this. You can fold this one up, and then the rear bench, see here, stays more upright. So that's not a comfortable thing, but then you have a little bit more cargo length in top end. Here you can see how the seat also moves back then again when I put this up, so you can do the Homer Simpson all day, like seat forward, seat backward, seat forward, seat backward. Thank you again so much, by the way, for the recent support. It's always just a joy for us to do these reviews for you. That is something I always want to say, you know. So it's just great to know for whom you're doing these reviews, and when you read so many great and positive comments, then keeps our motivation always high for you. Then here the trunk or the boot, let's take the measurements. Here we have the rails left and right for that. This fits in vertically as well, and you have here actually more than 1 meter or 40 inches in width. That's actually quite cool. Then the length here is also about 1 meter or 40 inches, and the height here is some 29 inches or 74 centimeters. What is good here, also in comparison to the X3, which does not have that. Here you have the remote unlock, but I think in this case the seat belts wanted to keep us a little bit tighter. So yeah, sometimes you need a little bit more help, and then sometimes it does flip automatically. So there we go, and then we have 73 inches or 1 meters 85, so well usable. Oh, and not to forget, right here, there's massive space underneath when you have like a combustion engine, not the plug-in hybrid, you know, so like a pure combustion engine. And here, like this shopping basket if you forget some bags or something like that. Now driving the GLC, and we had two major things. First of all,
my favorite feature here.
Yeah, let's start with that one here, the rear axis steering. And when we go like this U-turn thing or just go in the circle, it's crazy. It's really crazy. I mean, for this kind of vehicle size, yeah, it really makes things so much easier, you know, when parking in and out, basement, garage, and so on. So the rear axis steering is something that could be in the X3. I mean, you don't necessarily need it, but it does make things easier, especially when parking in and out. She definitely wants that, yeah. Yeah, and the second thing is, of course, the air suspension, but that one we will, of course, test also on the German Autobahn. Yeah, I could just look at that, you know. Okay, now I have to turn back once again, but yeah, that's really great. It's really great. Yeah, second thing, air suspension, big difference to the X3, definitely. And that one we will test now on the German Autobahn, of course. So now let's start driving a little bit sportier, still in the comfort mode, 90-degree turn. Yeah, I mean, there you feel that with the air suspension in comfort mode, it's not as direct as the X3. True, yeah. But we can also...
I love the steering wheel.
Steering is really nice. Good input here from the steering, definitely.
I think it's better than in the BMW, this steering handling.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really nice.
It's more precise.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a high level, yeah.
I think it used to be the other way around, that BMW had the way more crisp steering, and in the recent years, BMW got a little bit more vague from the steering. It depends on the model. And here, Mercedes got more and more precise from the steering, so that's a good job. And here now, the 90-degree corner with... there we go. So that was now in the sport mode. Suspension, did you feel a difference?
Yeah.
Is it better as a passenger when it's stiffer in the air suspension or softer?
Yeah, it's better. In the corners, yeah. But in the city with the bumps and something like that, it's better when it's a little bit softer. It's only for agile driving.
So here, when I go like a little bit left, right, now again, comfort, and then...
Yeah, then it shakes.
Yeah, it shakes up more, right?
Yeah.
So for agile driving, definitely better with the
sport
than in the... Or you can also go for the individual mode if you say like you want the...
steering wheel sporty, and the...
Or engine not sporty, that you say, hey, you want to drive efficient, but the suspension is supposed to be stiff, you know, so you can also individualize your mode right there. And now, of course, it's German Autobahn time as for that. And we're also going to talk about the diesel there. It's also very important, of course. Oh, there the camera for the parking sensor and so on went on. Oh, yeah, the six-cylinder has a crisp response. Six cylinders are great, definitely. If you're in the combustion engine world, nothing beats a six-cylinder, I think. 4.7 seconds is the acceleration figure here for the 3-liter six-cylinder diesel, and we're going to try that out. And of course, talk more about the difference between GLC and X3. So Leah just proved again that here, when we open the window on the right side,
dual glass. Yeah,
the dual lamination,
lamination and
dual glazing. So
don't hear that, yeah.
Yeah, let's see when we drive faster now if you can hear the difference then to the X3. Like from the engine, like the shifting transmission, that is a little bit more likable.
That's true, yeah. I felt that too, yeah.
So, and here we can do acceleration from 80 kilometers an hour. Let's go.
Wow.
Nice. Nice. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and that
it's very silent. 200.
Wow. 200 kilometers an hour here on the motorway. I mean, great acceleration and so cultivated from the 3-liter 6-liter diesel. Awesome. That was so much fun. And really, we're driving like almost 200 kilometers an hour.
You don't feel it, no.
Wow. Yeah. It's so silent. And now the sport mode also stable. So how safe do you feel as a passenger now?
Very safe. Yeah.
Wow. pretty much in control here of the whole car, and yeah, it is more silent than the X3 with the dual glazing here. Yeah, so wait a minute. No, we're still happy with our choice. You know, we're still happy.
But maybe we
X3
can change that.
But I you know that Leah, you remember that Leah's first pick, she wanted to have a GLC.
Yeah.
But there was no good offer for it. You know, that was also part of the deal. And
yeah.
the GLC is not, it's not worth double or triple the price or even quadruple the price than the X3 in the leasing
That's
range.
true,
You know,
yeah.
that's just the thing. But I totally do understand why Leah's first choice was the GLC because it drives amazing. The air suspension is great. The optional rear axis steering is amazing as well, depending on if you can get it in the country and
I
depending
love
on the
the
version.
ambient light and the interior here with the wood things that I love it. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Yeah, the matte wood styling is really beautiful, and also the ambient lighting as well. Yeah, that's really cool. I think, you know, when I'm not driving sporty, because now speed is limited 120, I tend to feel I want to go back to the comfort mode because then the suspension is a little bit bumpy, too stiff maybe. Yes, that's better now. Then it's comfort mode and it's more smooth, and you can really.
But you can change that easily here.
Yeah, at least you can have it is this capacitive hotkey somewhat, and the whole thing moves while you press it. But at least you do have that you can switch it through. You don't have to confirm it on the screen. It's fine like this. We can also test the cruise control right here. There we go. And
I think that's better in the BMW.
Yeah.
The ACC and cruise control and parking and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I now set the adaptive cruise control and also with the automatic lane keeping, the active lane keeping. See here, making a small bend and pretty smooth. And let's see, I can also initiate here this semi-autonomous lane keeping. I just clicked here on the indicator.
It is on a high level,
Yeah,
but
really
BMW is a little bit maybe.
Yeah, maybe with the iX3.
Yeah,
that one is next level.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm excited for the GLC EQ.
Yeah, if the GLC EQ is also one more level above that, looking forward to that. But I think it's here GLC and X3, like the combustion or plug-in and so on, or diesel, comparable. Both are very good in the assistance system, very smooth, and that's what we love about the GLC. Like Leah said, the smoothness. You know, like air suspension, silent. You know, from the windows and so on. Drivetrain with shifting and how the engine behaves. The BMWs are usually a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
But here the 3-liter 6-cylinder is super smooth. You know.
But plug-in is also very nice to drive in the city, and it's always silent. I loved it too. Yeah.
And I mean, you also can get the plug-in hybrid for the GLC.
Yeah.
It's also pretty cool. I think there the battery is also a little bit larger than with the X3, so that would also be a choice, definitely. One thing I also do notice between our X3 and the GLC here is that the GLC feels a little bit more like a C-Class with a higher suspension, whereas the X3 does not feel at all like a 3 Series. So the X3 is a true SUV. And this one here, in comparison, feels more like a crossover.
But in sporty driving, that's better. Sometimes the
X3
is a little bit heavy in the corners, I feel. And GLC is more sporty, and also the steering wheel and suspension,
Yeah, the thing is...
It's what you prefer,
Exactly. I rather feel like when I want an SUV, I want that SUV driving, you know, but Leah says she prefers it here, you know, with the GLC. So that's a really matter of preference. But once again, I can very well understand the choice. Seating is more comfortable in the X3, I would say. You know, like the ergonomics and also the materials and so on. They also have good animal-free seats here, also with seat cooling available and so on. They are also a little bit softer. That would be the best choice for the GLC, but the base ergonomics I feel are a little bit better with the X3. But it's both on the very same high level. But you know, no wonder that both of these were like all very, very close picks. So I don't know, maybe the next time they get a good offer for this one here, or the GLC EQ, which we will very, very soon drive for you. That's also very important that we have this one here, the normal GLC, like the so far combustion engine GLC now, that we can even better explain to you, this one by the way, the warning here for the blind spot monitor, so we can even explain it better to you. What are the differences in driving between the all-electric GLC and this one in here? So very good to have, again, this impression. And yeah, the diesel, I mean, there are always discussions about drivetrains, which one is the best and so on. And we have all drivetrains here on our channel because we want to serve all kind of needs and target groups and so on. It gives you a lot of like sovereignty, I would say. Like it's so cultivated, so calm, and you don't have to floor it out. It doesn't, I mean, it does have the power, but it doesn't tell you all the time.
You need to.
Yeah, you can also just cruise it, you know. And I mean, look at that, you know, when I'm here 100 kilometers an hour,
It feels like 50.
60 miles, it feels like nothing.
Yeah.
And here, I mean, yes, it's a diesel, but even more so when you have like such high displacement and cylinders and so on. 100 kilometers an hour, and we are like at okay, now we're going a little bit down. It's like 1,200 RPM, something like that. It's nothing, you know, it's totally nothing. So this engine says like 100 kilometers an hour. Oh,
I'm very sleepy
give
about
me a
it.
break. Yeah, I'm going to sleep now. Yeah, this brings you a lot of calmness, and it is so silent, also insulated from the cabin, that you do not hear any negative diesel sound, you know. In German, we often say the diesel nageln, you know, like nailing. Like when you hear this typical diesel, you don't hear that at all. So if I would step in now, this car drives 1 kilometers an hour on the motorway, I could not tell by the sound it is a diesel. I would need to look at the RPM. Okay, it's 1,000 RPM at 100 kilometers an hour. Must be a diesel. Can only be that, you know, because the petrol would be revving higher. But other than that, yeah, I mean, this is a very good choice for this car as a powertrain. You know, when you don't have any charging infrastructure and so on, and you can't even rely on a plug-in hybrid. In Germany, we have the taxation benefits even already for the plug-in hybrids when you take it as a company vehicle. But here, if someone says, I enjoy the 450D most with a GLC, you can very well understand that, definitely. Oh, there's like hidden civil police.
Hidden police?
Hopefully
They
they're
love
not
to do
searching.
that in Germany.
Maybe they're also Autogefühl fans.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Fake exhaust police.
Yeah, so I can, because I really appreciate, all the policemen out there who are doing service and also risking their lives for us, definitely. Every policeman will get a free Autogefühl fake exhaust t-shirts. So, if you ever, if you ever stop me,
you can text us,
no problem. I promise that. And maybe don't have it with me at the moment, but you can get it later then. So every policeman, who I meet in person will get a free Autogefühl fake exhaust t-shirt. So, thanks again for your service, everyone. Yeah, definitely great Autobahn vehicle. If there's one SUV for the German Autobahn,
that's it.
It's probably this one. We will cruise a couple of hours more because I also want to tell you more about the final consumption. You know, when we drove, it doesn't look that good at the moment. But we'll drive further, also a little bit calmer because not always we can floor it out.
And thanks again for all the lovely messages under our X3 video.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, so lovely. I mean,
we were so happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so awesome, people.
Yeah.
You're just really, really
thanks
awesome.
Again.
Thanks so much. Yeah. And now we drove over 4 hours and over 4 kilometers, 250 miles for you, and 7 liters on 1 kilometers. So 34 mpg US, 41 mpg UK at an average speed of 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. As for pricing, GLC starts around 60,000 euros. And then when we take the list prices, this one here, fully spec'd, as you can see it, is really a little bit over 100,000 euros. That's crazy. Mercedes doesn't do special offers anymore. So they have the list prices and then they have like the daily current price for the respective markets, but for all customers. On the one hand, you can say like, that's fair. But then again, there aren't like some super special offers like we get maybe from other manufacturers when they do special leasing offers and so on. And the current daily price when I checked today was 91,000 euros with this spec instead of 100,000 euros. So there's the list price on the one hand, and then they say, we make like, a little discount for that vehicle, and that's then for this day same for everyone. So yeah, it's strange on the one hand and understandable on the other hand. But anyways, no matter if 100,000 or 90,000, in both cases, super expensive. What you guys say is this 3-liter 6-liter diesel is a true Autobahn engine, you know. It's so refined and cultivated, really lovely to drive. If you compare it now to the BMW X3, we are still happy with the choice, yes. Leah rather prefers the like a little bit lower crossover-ish drive and seating position. I more prefer the X3, which is more like upright SUV in the thing. The X3, when you compare the combustion engine to the GLC, like all of them, the transmission somehow works smoother in the X3, gotta say that. Here we also scored some nice consumption, as I said, with 7 liters and 1 kilometers, 34 mpg US and 41 mpg UK. What is better here with the GLC? Clearly the suspension. If you go with the optional air suspension, you have a smoother ride. The only exception was when there was like, you know, like a lot of waves. Then you had like really like where the X3 would be a little bit stiffer, but somehow better for the stomach, you know. And of course the rear axle steering, it makes it so easy to like go in and out of the basement garage and so on. Yet again, not offered on all markets worldwide, this rear axle steering and you know, combination here with the air suspension. So you gotta check out the individual offers there. So it really depends. This is also more silent than the X3 on the motorway. So yes, there are some certain factors where the GLC is clearly better. Then again, the X3, for example, has better seating ergonomics. So that one was especially important to me, especially when you're tall. Also, of course, personal preference. But both come close. Both are great SUVs, definitely. So we don't regret going for an X3. But we could very well imagine going for a GLC when there's maybe a nice offer for that one. And soon there will also be then the decision if we go fully electric next. Then we are also like in between BMW iX3, GLC EQ and Volvo EX30. So we'll definitely keep you updated also with that choice. And I hope you enjoyed here also our 6-cylinder diesel ride for today. Now it's time to check out other competitors right here.